The Great Depression. Joy hack that saved families. The mental trick still protecting us today. Hard times don't just test your wallet. They test your mind, your patience, your sense of, I've got this. And during the Great Depression, when the world felt like it was cracking at the seams, ordinary families uncovered something powerful. A quiet survival skill that wasn't about money or tools or supplies. It was about joy, not the fluffy kind. The gritty, stubborn, hold-on-to-life joy that refuses to die even when the world is burning. The same kind of joy that kept soldiers grounded through the storms of World War II. Today, we're digging into that forgotten hack, the mindset move that helped families stay sane when everything else fell apart. And trust me, what they discovered still works like magic right now. The power of shared moments. When people lost jobs, savings, security, even their own sense of direction, families realized something almost rebellious. Survival wasn't only about food, it was about staying emotionally alive, so they leaned into togetherness. Not the glossy kind you see in movies, but real, messy, we're in this together or we're done unity. Evenings became the sanctuary. Parents told stories, kids reenacted funny moments from the day, neighbors dropped by with jokes, music, or a little harmless gossip. The world outside was heavy, but inside those rooms, laughter acted like armor. This wasn't accidental. It was strategic. A true joy hack. When the economy collapses, the human spirit tries to go with it. Families fought back by feeding connection like it was a meal. The rise of everyday creativity. When money vanished, creativity became the currency. People didn't have toys, so they made them. Didn't have entertainment, so they created it. Handmade instruments, recycled crafts, tiny games played with pebbles or bottle caps. It wasn't about distraction. It was about agency. The feeling of, I can still do something. I can still make something. Psychologists today would call this cognitive resilience. Depression families called it life. They understood what many of us forget. The brain needs wins, even tiny ones. Making things gave families a sense of control in a world where control seemed impossible, and this creative spark became a family glue, something to gather around when hope felt thin. The magic of purposeful work. Here's something wild. Doing chores, tending to a garden, or fixing something broken didn't just help the family survive. It gave people mental stability. During the Depression, work routines helped families regain a rhythm, a pulse. When everything external was unpredictable, small responsibilities offered structure. Kids helped with cooking, sewing, washing, hauling water, or feeding animals. Adults shared tasks that once belonged only to one person. This wasn't forced labor. It was meaningful contribution. Everyone carried the weight together, and that shared effort reduced stress. It turned survival into teamwork. Families learned something modern life sometimes steals from us. Having a purpose keeps panic away. The art of turning scarcity into strength. Food was scarce. Money was scarce. Comfort was scarce. But mindset? Well, that could be abundant. Depression-era families developed a skill that would help soldiers later in World War II, reframing hardship. If a meal was small, they turned it into an event. If something was broken, they joked about it before fixing it. If a day was brutal, they celebrated surviving it. They didn't deny reality. They simply refused to let it define them. This ability to flip the narrative wasn't just optimism, it was survival psychology. And, it protected entire households from spiraling into despair. That's the joy hack in its rawest form, refusing to surrender your inner world even when your outer world is collapsing. The strength in community bonds. Families didn't survive alone. Neighborhoods formed emotional ecosystems. People shared food, traded skills, watched each other's kids, cooked meals together, even pooled money for emergencies. Hardship forced people out of isolation and into community resilience. This wasn't charity. It was mutual survival. And inside that web of support, families found hope. Knowing someone else had your back makes the mental load bearable. Something powerful happens when a whole group agrees silently. We don't fall apart today. That idea carried forward into World War II, where entire towns supported soldiers, rationed together, planted victory gardens, and kept morale alive with community events. The Depression taught them how. The war proved its value. The unbreakable rituals that held families together. Rituals, small, repeated behaviors that quietly keep life stable. Depression families relied on them like anchors. Daily tea, Sunday music nights, shared chores in the morning, prayers before dinner, stories before bed. They created emotional predictability in an unpredictable world. Rituals soothe the brain. They whisper, "You are safe right now." And in the middle of chaos, that whisper can feel like a roar of strength. Even when money disappeared, rituals stayed. They cost nothing, but they fed everything. The secret weapon of humor. This one is, honestly, underrated. Humor was a lifeline. Families joked about their own misfortune, not cruelly, cleverly. Humor took fear and stripped it of its power. It created a buffer between the mind and the struggle. When families laughed, they weren't ignoring reality. They were taking a breath long enough to survive it. Some historians say that humor, simple, daily humor, was one of the most effective mental shields of the era. And honestly, they're not wrong. Hard times aren't new, but the solutions aren't new either. They're old, proven, battle-tested by people who survived the Great Depression and then carried those lessons into the storm of World War II. The joy hack they discovered still works. Find shared moments. Create things. Build purpose into your day. Flip the narrative. Lean on community. Hold on to rituals. Laugh in the face of the chaos. This is not just nostalgia. It's strategy. If you want to stay mentally strong when life hits hard, this is the blueprint. If you want more wisdom from the front lines, more hidden lessons history tried to hand us, make sure you subscribe, like, and share this video. Your support helps this channel bring forgotten strength back to life.